Hi everyone. Hi, my name's Arsh Ellahi, and today you're here with me on a very special session where we're going to be talking about how to find deals in 2020. Now, just so that you know, I called something at the start of 2020. I said that 2020 was going to be the year of opportunity. Little did I know before that we were going to have the issues that we're foreseeing now, which is COVID, coronavirus, and more importantly, lockdown. But I still stand by my claim that finding deals in 2020 is going to be the easiest year that you will ever come across opportunities. So, sorry, if you're watching on the webinar or if you're watching online, please give me a quick hello. Let me know that you can hear me nice and loudly and clearly because we're going to go straight into it. Okay, so Matthew says, will this be recorded? And Boris Johnson hasn't done me any favours, admittedly, by trying to address the nation at the same time that I'm also presenting a presentation on finding property deals in the UK. So Boris, do your thing, I'll do my thing, and hopefully together we'll make a better nation. So let's keep moving on. So 2020, the year of opportunity. I called this earlier in the year, and I really believe that we've got a phenomenal opportunity, especially whilst we're in lockdown. Whilst we're in lockdown, we've got all this time, we've got all this opportunity to find deals. More importantly, whilst I've been in lockdown, I've done a number of deals literally just by sat from my laptop in working from home. So we've got a lot that we're going to be going through. So I'm going to first of all say thank you. Thank you very much for trusting me with your time this evening. I appreciate there's so many things going on around the world, yet you decide to spend a bit of time with me this evening, and we're going to be going through how we can keep you moving forward and how we can keep you making money. So thank you very much for your time. By the end of this 90-minute session, and I do want to be off approximately by 8:30, 8:45 at the very latest, I'm going to be showing you how you can get started in property with no money and no experience. Now, that's a massive claim, massive claim. How can you get involved in property with no money and no experience? Believe it or not, it is very doable. It is very doable, and I see and I train and I teach people pretty much every week on how to get involved in property, regardless of the money that they have in the bank or the experience that they have. I'm going to be showing you how to make cash flow from simply controlling properties. So we'll be talking, there'll be a big part of the presentation that we're talking about as to how you don't need money, but more importantly, how you can simply control and still make more money than you would as if you owned it. Now, these are really big claims. Finally, I'm going to be talking to you and showing you how to find vendors direct and negotiate the best deals. Now, again, another big claim. Now, if you're in the right place, if you like what we're talking about, first of all, if you're on Facebook, give me a wave, give me a hello. If you're on the webinar, let me know that you're in the right place. Say, yes, I'm ready for this. Okay, so everyone starts to say yes. Now, why should I be spending my Sunday evening here telling you a little bit about what I do? Well, first of all, I'm the owner of the UK's first property investment marketplace mobile application. It's called Property Investor. I've been trading properties for over 20 years, and predominantly I've been selling deals previously via emails, etc. But I brought it all into one place in the form of a mobile app, and it's called Property Investor. You can find it on the App Store, whether you're on Apple iOS or whether you are on Android, and you can go to Google Play Store, or alternatively, you can go to www.propertyinvestораpp.co.uk. Someone's come in and said that they've got no sound. Okay, if you've got, just let me know that you can hear me nice and loudly and clearly. That'd be great. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Emma. Hi, Jat, and everyone else that's with me. I would say first and foremost that I am a property investor. I'm a property investor. I own quite a lot of property. I've got the best part of 1,100 tenants. So that's my first and foremost level of income. And so I'm not one of these people who have been on a course last week and now teaching you how to deal trade. I've been doing this 20 years. So I've got so much experience in this. I'm also an author and a feature writer on two very well-known publications, UK publications. So we've got Your Property Network and the HMO magazine, and I feature in lots of different publications all over the UK, and I talk at many specialist trade shows all over the country. Now, remember we talked about lockdown. Remember we talked about how much time and how much space we've got. Now, how are you using this time? The reason why I mention this is that whilst we've been in lockdown, one of the things that I've been procrastinating over the last couple of years is that I wanted to launch a podcast. And I've done that whilst being in lockdown. It's called The Property Rebel. I like to think that I'm a bit of a rebel, where not conforming to the property norm. And a lot of the things that I'm going to be teaching you and sharing with you tonight, not many people will be able to share with you because they've not had the experience or they don't have the knowledge to teach you this. It's called The Property Rebel, and believe it or not, I'm actually a top 10 podcaster in the whole of the UK. Now, that's really cool. That's really cool. Little did I know when I embarked on this little journey that I was going to get within the top 10. So if you haven't already listened to the podcast, we've got 5 episodes up there already. You can either go to Spotify, you can go to iTunes, and you can also go to Stitcher. I believe we're on TuneIn, and we've got lots of other platforms. So Google or search for The Property Rebel, and you'll be able to come up with my podcast. Right. I'm also a best-selling author of a book called Boom, Bust and Back Again, available on Amazon. And I'm a property trainer that has helped hundreds, if not thousands of people achieve financial freedom. So we've come a long way, and I've been doing this all within the space of 20 years. So when people say that I'm an overnight success, my overnight success has taken me 20 years to get me to this point. The good thing that I will say from your point of view is that you don't need to make the mistakes that I've already made. So I'm going to be giving you all the secrets tonight. So what are your goals for 2020? Now, I believe it or not, I always write goals at the start of the year, almost like a New Year's resolution. And I wrote that I was going to do lots of major things. Believe it or not, podcast was on there. So tick, done. Now, I want you to spend literally a moment here to ask yourself, you wrote some goals down in 2020. I appreciate that probably a lot of those goals have probably gone out the window now. And that is perfectly normal, by the way. Don't beat yourself up over it, because now no one could predict the circumstances that we're in right now. So have you set yourself a new set of goals? I've had to, restructure a lot of my businesses to meet the requirements or to meet the circumstances that we're in. So thinking about you. Okay, so Wilford, sorry, I'm just going to type here. Is the audio started? Yes. Yes, I'm going to put, please restart your machine. So Wilford we've got a lot of people online. We've got a hell of a lot of people. So we've got people on Facebook, we've got people on Instagram, we've got people on YouTube, and we're also on our webinar as well. So take a moment here. What did you say to yourself at the start of 2020? What were your goals? Mohammed says, is this audio only? If you want me to, I can open up to visual, but it's completely up to you. If you want me to be visual as well, please say yes, and I'll open up the camera. Got no issue with that. Okay, so right, I'll do this. Let's get this moving forward. Right, okay. So here I am. Hello. Right, okay. So let's get moving forward. So what are your goals? What are your goals for 2020? Now, these could come in the form of, are you looking for cash flow? Are you looking to build cash flow into your business? Are you looking to build assets into your business? Are you looking to buy, hold assets? Are you looking to secure your family's future? Are you looking to escape the rat race? Are you sick of going to work for someone else in order to make them money? Are you looking to make property pay for luxuries such as holidays? Are you looking to help your kids get into the property ladder, get into university? Are you looking to create a pension plan? So these are all the things that you could create. So my question to you is, what have your goals been for 2020? And more importantly, one thing I always try and do is I try and visualize success. What does success look like to you? Now, this is a really important question because everyone has to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, my question is, why not? More importantly, if you do have a goal, what does that goal look like to you? How do you visualize that goal? Is it owning a certain amount of properties? Is it having the properties generate a certain amount of cash flow? Is it sourcing a certain amount of deals? The most important question that I'm going to ask you is that the goal's there. How are we going to get there? How are we going to get there? So I'm going to I put a quote up on the screen right now, and think about this for a second. The journey is more important than the destination. And the reason why I say that is because, believe it or not, it's quite poignant that today I was actually watching an episode of Only Fools and Horses. And have you ever seen the one where they actually sold the watch and they made £6 million? And at the end of it, Del Boy, I'm talking about Only Fools and Horses here. I can't believe I'm doing this on a webinar. Now, Only Fools and Horses, Del Boy then says to Rodney, he goes, can you believe that after all these years of chasing the money, chasing the dream, I've got to a point that I've got all this money and now I'm bored. That's why I say the journey is the most important part. The journey is the most important than the destination. That's why you've got to do something that you enjoy. That's why you've got to do something that suits your personality. And I'm hoping that tonight, by you listening to this webinar, this is going to ignite something. This is going to ignite something with you, that this is something that you should be doing. Now, before I go any further, whether you're listening in on social media, whether you're listening in on the webinar, what's your experience? What's your experience with property? If you wouldn't mind just spending a minute here, just telling me what is it that you do? Are you completely new to property? If so, that's fine. Just put beginner. If you've already owned some properties, just say, yeah, own a few properties. Have you traded property before? Have you bought and have you got a rent to rent? Okay, let's have a look at what's coming through. If you're watching on social media, please play along as well. So Ryan says, I'm a beginner. Okay, so Shalina's got a few. Okay, we've got a real mixed bag here. We've got lots of beginners. We've got quite a few people that own a few properties. So what we'll do, we'll make sure that everyone is included and we'll cover. Okay, so Ria's said, I'm completely new. I've been trying to find answers to actually get started. Now, I love that. I absolutely love that. So you're searching answers. Okay, so we've got lots of beginners on. We've also got lots of what I call intermediary, and we've got a few seasoned investors. Someone said I've got 75 properties. Fantastic. That's a real inspiration to a lot of people, because 75 properties is a lot of properties. So let's start from the beginning. What is deal trading? Deal trading, believe it or not, I've not created a new segment here. I'm not reinventing the wheel. Deal trading is very much a service which, for homeowners, where we're matching investors to property which homeowners have failed to sell. Now, think about this logically. Who else does this? As a service, who else does this? Think about it. What do estate agents do? Estate agents sell properties. Now, what do deal traders do? They sell properties. So in essence, it doesn't matter what you call yourself, a deal trader, a deal sourcer, a deal packager, these are all the same. They all point to the same pinpoint. We sell properties, we source properties, and we sell them. I call it a source, package, and sell, SPF. Source, package, and sell, SPS, yes. So it's a service. So it's a service to homeowners or investors. It's a service to investors, helping investors find properties which they would not have found without your help. So pretty much, we've got the vendor here, we've got the owner here, we've got the purchaser here. We're the person that literally does a transaction in the middle. Do you understand that? I'm not creating a new segment here. All we're doing is we're facilitating the sale of the transaction. Is everyone with me so far? Give me a quick yes, no. Okay. Remember, this is simple stuff at the start. We're going to get into the complexity of it shortly. Okay, brilliant. Everyone's saying yes, 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 yes. Right, fantastic. Let's get moving on. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit about my goals as to what I set myself in 2020 based on the fact of what I did for 2019. 2019, I actually traded approximately £54 million worth of property, which is more than most estate agents would sell in a year. Now, this is me as a one-man band selling properties to my database. That's 54 million pounds worth of property. So that's not 54 million pounds worth of fees. Let's not get that. Let's not get that. Let's get that completely correct. I didn't make that in fees. That is a collective amount of property that I did in 1 year. Now, going forward for year 2020, I set myself some real goals. This was pre-COVID, by the way. This was pre-COVID, based on the fact that I thought I was going to trade 1,000 properties in 2020. This was pre-COVID. Come March, I can pretty much say to you honestly that that's gone out the window. Trying to trade 1,000 properties from now, you know, we've done quite a few hundred so far, but trying to get to 1,000 is pretty much near enough impossible now. So I'm having to rewrite. I'd be happy with 500 this year, if I was honest. Whether we get to 500 this year is another question. Depends on when we come out of lockdown, depends when the industry starts moving forward. So again, if you're watching me on social media, if you're watching me on the webinar, I want to say a quick hello again. So this year, my other goals, some of them, so that was my business goal. I wanted to trade 1,000 properties in a year. That has now been scrapped. I'd be happy if we could do half of that, which is we did over 500 transactions last year. So if I could match that, I would be phenomenal. It would be phenomenal. It would be a phenomenal achievement for me. I did in February the Ironman 70.3, which is a half Ironman. I did that in Muscat, Oman. That's completed. Tick. I also had booked in the Ironman UK Bolton, which is a full Ironman. That was due to happen in July the 12th. Fortunately, that's been cancelled. So that's been cancelled. So as a result, that's not going to happen. I would like to have done that before my 40th birthday, which is in November. I think that's been postponed. My birthday's not postponed, but obviously the event has. So we're going to try pushing. We're going to try pushing on for more, and I'd like to try and do the Ironman this year. So I can say that I've done both of them within a year. So the goal is still there. I'm still trying to achieve it, but I'm just having to probably go to another country to achieve it. I'm looking at potentially Florida. So okay, so let's keep moving on. So they were my goals. So let's look at the principles of deal trading. There's 3 people involved in deal trading, 3 principles. So first of all, you've got the vendor. When I talk about the vendor, and I'll go through the complexities or the terminology in great detail. The vendor, in simple terms, is the homeowner or the person that owns a property. They're the person that needs help selling their property. And this could also be, now, you've got to put yourself in these circumstances. Have you sometimes tried to sell a property and it's not gone as quickly as you wanted it to go? Have you ever been in that position and you've started to get frustrated? So Carmelo says, will I send slides? Yes, I will send slides. If that's what you want me to do, I'll send you slides. I'm always happy to try and help where possible. So if you're watching this, hi Brett, hi Pav. The vendor is a homeowner. This is a person that's tried to sell a property, and if they struggle to sell the property, then they've potentially gone to other methods to try and find that property, to try and sell that property. So they'll probably put it into auction. They've either then tried to give it to a deal sourcer. So this could be a company that's advertised in the back of the paper, I will buy the property for cash, etc. And then as a result, they'll call them and says, yeah, I've got this property, can you help me? Either can you buy it off me or can you help me sell it? So that's the vendor. Now, the second person is the sourcer. The sourcer is, in essence, you. You're the person. You're the person that's going to bring this all together. You are the key instrumental. You're the cog in the whole process. You're the person that's going to be better at understanding investment properties and then trying to find the right investor for it. So you're a matchmaker. And then finally, the third person is the investor. This is the person who purchases the property which meets their criteria, and ultimately they pay you a fee for the service. Is everyone with me so far? Guys, if you're on social media, I am closing this. I am closing this in a second. And if you want to watch the full session, you have to come onto the webinar. The link is in the opening post. So when we talk about deal sourcing, the first thing I always talk about is the vendor. In order for us to find the correct solution, we have to understand what is the pain, where is the pain and what is the motivation? Why are they selling? And believe it or not, everyone's got a reason for sale. Now, if you're an estate agent or if you're a person selling your property at the moment, ask yourself, what's the real reason for selling? Are you upscaling? Are you downscaling? Are you having to move because of some form of difficulty, whether it be a marital breakup, whether it be a financial difficulty? You know, and there's no shame in admitting this. So everyone has got a reason for sale. Now, you as a deal sourcer, you're the person that has to find that information out, because as a result of finding that out, you're then going to be able to put together a solution which is going to meet everyone's criteria. You as a sourcer also have to be able to add value to this property. How are you going to add value to it? Simple things. Can this property become a cash flowing machine? Can you add value to it? Has it got an angle to it? Can you add value to it by planning? Is it a plot of land that can be that you can get planning permission for? Can it become a HMO? Can it be a small block of flats? Could it be service accommodation? You know, I'm just giving you some examples here. And then, more importantly, you've then got to sit there with your different hat on, the investor, and ask yourself, you as a property investor yourself, would you buy this property if you saw this as an opportunity? So can you see the reasons here? Not only are you the person putting together the deal, but you're also the person thinking, would I buy this? Now, one of the beautiful things about deal trading, and one of the emails that I sent out, is that you get to see the best deals first. Now, I can guarantee you that if anything comes up in Wolverhampton, it will pretty much come across my desk, because I've become that go-to person. If there's a deal in Wolverhampton, I'm seeing it first. If there's a deal within an hour's drive of Wolverhampton, I'm seeing it first. I have agents call me every day. I have other sources call me every day. I have homeowners call me every day saying, Arsh, I've got this property to sell. Are you interested? I then appraise it and I say, yes, no, and I always say, yeah, I'm interested at the start to buy myself some time. And there's no shame in that, by the way. What you're doing is you're making sure that they don't go elsewhere. And as a result of that, you then say, okay, I like it. And then if it's right for you, great. I've got this system called the buy, sell, rent. Can I buy it myself? Can I sell it for them? And can I rent it for them if need be? So every way I'm monetizing the lead, every way I'm monetizing the deal. And that's one of my skills. And this is what I'm trying to teach you guys tonight, how to monetize every lead so that you don't walk away from a deal. You shouldn't be walking away from any deal without going through every angle to the nth degree. Does everyone understand this, by the way? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Please let me know. So other reasons why I love deal trading. I see all the best deals first, and this is, you know, without the doubt, the main reason why I do it. If I'm looking to buy property, I don't want to go and pay the full market value for it. I want to get the deal. And the reason why I get the deal is because I'm going to be in direct contact either with the vendor or someone associated with the vendor, which is going to allow me to get the best deal. With deal trading, because I'm simply trading the deal, I've got no tenants. I've got no maintenance. Because I'm not intending on buying the property, I've got no bank borrowings. That's why I said at the start of this session that this is the easiest way for you to get involved in property, where you don't need any money and you don't need any experience. It's 100% hands-free investing, and you're not tying up any money. That's why I say anyone can do this. There's nothing special about me. The only thing that I've probably got is a bit of confidence, but that has grown over the last 20 years. And believe it or not, with the right training, you can grow in confidence instantly. You can deal with any property in any town, any city, in any country. Now, just to give you an example, let's just say, I'm going to use an example, and there are other estate agents available, by the way. Let's just say Connells in Wolverhampton. Do you think Connells in Wolverhampton can go and deal with a property in Leeds? Would they be doing that vendor or that owner in Leeds any justification? would they be doing them the best? Would they be doing them a service? More importantly, because of the way that they're set up, they can't go and operate in Leeds. So therefore, Connells Wolverhampton operates in Connells Wolverhampton. Connells Leeds will have to operate in Connells Leeds. Whereas me, as a deal trader, I can operate wherever I want. I'm not governed by a certain city, a certain town, or a certain district. So therefore, I can do any property, any city, any town. Believe it or not, I've actually traded properties in other countries as well. Currently looking, believe it or not, a project, and this is a project in Saudi Arabia. Now that's strange. That's really strange. But yeah, let's keep going with this. It can be start and stopped whenever you require, because it's, believe it or not, it's you and your business. Can be done anywhere around the world. Now, remember I mentioned earlier that I did the Ironman in Oman in Muscat earlier this year. Whilst I was in Muscat, I was still trading properties. Believe it or not, we've all got this thing called a mobile phone, and you can set it up so that you've got virtual phone numbers, you've got virtual offices, and anything. Believe it or not, you can trade properties everywhere from anywhere in the world. I was still trading whilst I was in the other side of the world. Can be done from a mobile phone and a laptop, and that's all you need. And then sourcing does not have to stop at property. It can be pretty much, once you've got the skill, you can pretty much source anything. Going back to why I like it, why I love trading so much: no solicitors, no surveyors, no refurbishment works, no builders, no contractors, pretty much no risk. And the reason why I say that is because you don't own anything. Therefore, there's nothing that can go wrong. Now, guys, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you are on YouTube and you're watching this live, now's the time that we're going to close. It's because we're going to start getting into the intricacy parts as to what deal trading does. So if you like what you've heard so far, click the link in the opening post, which is bit.ly/BMV deal trader or deal finder, and I will speak to you all very soon. Thank you. Good night. Guys on the webinar, literally, okay, so Ross has asked a question here, and he goes, not true. Surely there's a risk of false advertising if you don't do sufficient due diligence and technically be done for fraud. You know, to be fair, Ross, no one's really ever asked me that before. No one's really ever asked me that. But if you're a good deal sourcer, there's no reason why you wouldn't have done all your due diligence from the outset. So I appreciate, you know, in the 20 years that I've done this, I've never come across that. I appreciate that other deal sourcers, amateur deal sourcers, may have had some issues where they've not declared some of the information. You've got to bear in mind that I've jumped through all the hoops of Apple and also Google to be able to get my app onto the App Store. And therefore, you can appreciate the red tape that's involved there. They would not have allowed me, because let's face it, I'm not technically speaking an estate agent. I'm not technically speaking an auction. I'm not technically speaking a letting agent. What category do I fall in? They had real issues with understanding what I was all about. They never come across the terms of deal sourcing. So in that respect, I had to jump through a lot of hoops to get there. So Ahmed says, where can I find the link? Sorry, what link are we talking about, Ahmed? You're already on the webinar. If you're talking about the app, you go to the App Store and type in Property Investor. So one of the guys that I want to talk to you about, first and foremost, and then we're going to keep going, is this guy, because one of the things that people come back to me and say from time to time, they say, Arsh, you go, you make it look too easy. You make it look too easy because you've been doing it 20 years. Now, let's not talk about me, because admittedly, for me, this is second nature. You know, someone talks to me about a property, I go, boom, boom, okay, I've got the solution, let's go move forward. And I move at a rapid speed. I'm very proactive with what I do. The young gentleman that you see on screen is a young gentleman called Temel. Actually lives in Wolverhampton. And he runs a very successful and busy signage company. And he had no property experience whatsoever. And he joined the EPT sourcing deals in 2019. We'll talk about that shortly. So I asked him, I said, what did you learn, or what made you, what made you this deal machine? Because he has become a real deal machine. I'm going to be talking about his deals in a second. I go, with Arsh's guidance and using his technique to analyze deals, I've seen fantastic results. Space of 6 months, I've successfully sourced and sold 4 deals and taken on several rent-to-rent deals on myself. He goes, Arsh is a great inspiration and has wealth of knowledge in the property sector. The education and advice he provides on this program is phenomenal. If you're looking to get into property and considering a mentor, this is it. So this is Taimur. He's a young lad. He's early 30s. He's got so much enthusiasm, and he doesn't have a lot of time. He does this all in the evenings. His business, he's self-employed. He does his signage company during the day. In the evening, he spends on average 1 hour an evening sourcing deals. Okay, so we are going into how we're going to be finding deals. So Taimur, first one. Now Taimur's based in Wolverhampton. First property that he sourced was a property HMO, which was based in Hull, which was a fully tenanted income-producing asset. It was sourced, believe it or not, through an estate agent, which was advertised on Rightmove. Now, you've got to ask yourself the question: why was Taimur successfully able to sell that property as opposed to the estate agent that had been shifting it around on Rightmove and Zoopla and on the market, etc., etc.? The agent, he approached the agent, he told the agent exactly what he does. And as a result of that, the agent gave him the opportunity to sell the property to Taimur's database, which in this case was my database. It took Taimur approximately 1.5 to 2 hours to source, analyze, call the agent and get exclusivity to the property and packaged it up. And he sold the property within 7 days to my database. When we talk about sell, just so that you know, and for clarity, this is to get an investor interested in it, get him round the property, make sure that he's happy with it, and start progressing with it legally. Once he's progressed with it legally, we can pretty much step out the centre and move on to the next one. For that property, Taimur charged a £4 fee, considering that he'd never physically viewed the property. So just so you know, Taimur didn't go to Hull. He's not viewed a single one of these properties, and I'm going to give you a few more of his deals in a minute. You see that he's scattered all over the country. Going back to my point is that you don't have to stick to one location. And I always use the analogy: would you go fishing in a pond, or would you like to go fishing in the sea? And the reason why I say that is because the sea has so many more opportunities. And charge a 4K fee, which is fantastic for a couple of hours work. Wouldn't you agree? Second property, 5-bed HMO in Wolverhampton. He decided to keep this. So one thing I would say to you, remember what I said about finding the deals and keeping some of the deals for yourself? You don't have to sell every deal. There's nothing that says that you need to sell the deals. You could keep the deals once you get them. So using Arsh's technique, I went direct to a vendor, proposed a solution, and managed to get a 3-year rent-to-rent deal agreed. Now that property generates a cash flow of circa £600 a month. Another deal, he took a 2-bedroom apartment in Birmingham city centre. So far we've been to Hull, Wolverhampton and Birmingham. Got a 2-bedroom apartment which he uses as a rent-to-rent service accommodation. Can you see the different kind of strategies that he's also implementing? Again, producing around £600 a month. Another deal, number 4, a 7-bed HMO in Stoke, which is a lease option. Never viewed it. All the pictures were provided by the owner via WhatsApp. Sale agreed within 1 day to my database. Again, we charge a £5 fee for that. Deal number 5, 6-bed HMO with the same owner of the previous deal. Sold again to my database, charged another £5 fee. Now this one is a 5-bed HMO in Bridgewater, which is pretty much down on the south coast. When he bought this to me originally, I didn't really think that this was going to sell. Little did I know that this set the phone on fire. Bridgewater happens to be a bit of a hotspot. So there's a little bit of a tip. 5-bed HMO in Bridgewater, fully tenanted, income producing, sourced via an estate agent via Rightmove. So as you can see, that Taimur is using a mixture of estate agents and also going direct to vendor. And if you see that he's got HMOs, he's got lease options, he's got rent to rents. He's done a mixture of all the strategies. I'll be talking shortly about how to not be trapped as a one-trick pony. Again, he's charged a £5 fee there. So let's go on to it. There's no need to be a one-trick pony. As a deal sourcer, providing that you're a successful deal sourcer and you're a strategic deal sourcer, you look at every property and you apply a strategy which works best for the owner and the purchaser. This is what makes us different to an estate agent. An estate agent will only know one trick. We will get the property off the owner. We will put it on Rightmove, we will put it on Zoopla, we will put it on the market, and we will wait for someone to come and approach us. Now, for those that receive my emails, for those that receive my deals on the app, you'll see that I package them in a slightly different way. It's considered almost like a business in a box opportunity. And what I want to present when I'm putting these deals across is for you to literally, as an investor, to look at it and say, okay, I understand the property, I understand where it is, I understand the income that's producing, I understand the proposition and the opportunity. Boom, yes, I like it. Boom, yes, I'm going, I'm ready, we're going and we're moving forward. And that's how fast it moves. Like rent to rents and lease options, I can sell within the space of 5 minutes. B&B deals, I can sell within the space of an hour. You know, HMO deals or the larger deals, I'll shift within 24 to 48 hours. What other estate agent can boast that? They can't. Now, admittedly, I'm talking from me and my years of experience here. But one thing that I'll be saying to the guys that are on this webinar is that you've got the opportunity to do this with me as well. I'm after more sources so that I can find more stock for the Property Investor app. That's my agenda, and I'm very open with that. I'm not here hiding anything. I want more deal sources. I want more good quality stock. So the kind of deals is below market value, full market value. We will pay full market value if the deal's right. Rent to rent, lease option, assisted sell, exchange and delayed completion, planning gains. So remember, you don't have to sell every deal. If there's a deal in your location and you say, oh, sure, I want to keep this one, be my guest. You know, let's build that portfolio for you. Let's build your future. Now, why is this the perfect opportunity? Well, let's get to the point. Why is this the perfect opportunity? As a deal sourcer, you can trade in any market. You can trade in any market. In the boom, where sellers in control as prices continue to increase. In the bust, and this is where we're going right now, buyers are in control, properties are going to struggle to sell. And I'll talk to you about this in a second. You as a trader, you adjust your pricing accordingly to the economic climate. Does that resonate with any of you? Has the light bulb moment kicked in yet? The next two slides are going to be absolute gold if you're looking for an opportunity to get involved in property. Think about all the uncertainty in the marketplace right now. Before, we thought we had it bad with Brexit. Think about all the casualties, and when we talk about casualties, we're talking about business casualties that are going to happen as a result of COVID-19. Giving you an example now, you probably work for a corporate somewhere. Did they make you work from home? If they did, give me a quick yes or no, please. That'd be great. Did they make the work from home? And so, if so, are they also considering potentially keeping you working from home as a result of lowering their outgoings? Therefore, the offices that you previously worked in a few months ago, what's going to happen to those? Who owns those buildings? There's going to be loads of commercial opportunities. All the people that bought their properties back in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and they paid full market value for them. As a price correction of 20%, which is what we're expecting, a lot of those properties are going to be in negative equity. What's going to happen with those? The landlords that are struggling with letting their rooms out right now, what's going to happen with those? What's going to happen to property prices? What's going to happen with not only voids, but also Section 24. What's going to happen when will we remain? I was talking about Brexit. Yes, we will remain. But what's going to happen with our interest rates? Surely they cannot remain at this all-time low. We've seen how much support the government has given us. They gave us the loans, they've given us the grants, they give us the reliefs, they give us the furlough. This all has to get repaid somehow. And the first thing that they're going to do is that the interest rates are going to increase. What's that going to do to mortgage interest rates? Are our wages going to go up as a result? I doubt it, but our cost of living is going to increase. How much pressure is that going to put on us as homeowners, as business owners? How will we deal with Corona? Businesses will be desperate to start again. Now, I've put this up here, and people are saying, well, Arsh, where we're going with all this? This is the key. The government tells all estate agents to shut down immediately. Shuts all their offices immediately. We've never, ever been in a situation where the government has done anything like that. Now, let's think about this logically. An estate agent, how is their model? How does their model operate? They only make income, they only make money, or they only make fees when they sell a property. Therefore, if they're not open, what are they doing? Let's face it, estate agents have been told that they can't show people around properties. If they're vacant, they may. If the property's empty, then they may show people around. But if the property's occupied, if you're a homeowner, are you going to let people into your house? Therefore, no viewings are happening. No sales are happening. Anyone that I put an offer in previously is now going to go back and renegotiate, which means that it's going to put more stress on the vendor, more stress on the agents. Vendors are going to be eager to sell, and they're going to be jumping ship to the first agent who can deliver. Therefore, they're going to be looking at all the people who can offer them the solution first. Now, you as a deal sourcer, you should be looking at saying, you know what, I'm going to jump over this opportunity left, right, and center, and I'm going to be there to go to the vendor and say, you know what, I can sell your property, or give me the opportunity to do something with your property. Does that make sense? Is it starting to hit home yet? So Helen says, Helson said, would that mean even investors would not be interested? Now, Helson, most investors now are getting ready and gearing up, ready to buy, because this is the time to buy. When the market crashes, this is when the real deals are done. Remember, I talked about the commercial properties, all these empty buildings now. Who's going to be buying them? Investors are going to be buying them. Homeowners won't be buying them. Let's face it, mortgages, you know, the government says that they won't offer any mortgages above 75%. As a homeowner, how many homeowners have a 25% deposit? Very little. So therefore, all the properties now are going to be offered out to investors. Agents are going to be wanting to talk to you because they're going to need someone to help shift their properties. We'll talk about compliance. So Ryan says, can we mention compliance? Absolutely, we'll talk about compliance. Compliance is that you will need to be compliance in order for you to start doing this. So there's so many. So one of the questions asked is, Arsh, can you show me all the methods that we can go to start sourcing deals? Now, you could start doing this as quickly as this evening, and I'm very clear on that. So you could start looking on social media this evening. There's lots of groups in social media. So you've got the below market value group, you've got the all about property group, you've got the HMO group, you've got the social media, you've got the service accommodation group, you've got the rent to rent group. These are all groups that, believe it or not, are on Facebook, LinkedIn. They're on other social media platforms as well. I think you've got some Instagram groups as well. And there's lots of deals that are floating around. Now, the reason why I say that is because Have you ever heard of a term called co-sourcing? Well, pretty much you could co-source some of those deals and you could sell them via the app and make a percentage of the fee. Would you take, if, okay, here's a question for you. If someone said that they had a deal and they're prepared to give you a percentage of their deal if you could sell it, would you do it? Type in yes or no. Would you type in yes or no? And the reason why I say that is because they're pretty much saying, I've got a deal, I've done all the hard work, and I want you to help me to sell it and I'll pay you for that. Why wouldn't you do it? So straight away, instantly, everyone should be able to do that. Now, the next thing I'll say to you is that estate agents have made this extremely easy for you, because you could literally write a letter to every house that's got a board outside. Guys, we understand that you're selling your property. The reason why I'm contacting you is because I appreciate that you haven't sold yet. Is there a reason why you haven't sold? And you know, with COVID and with everything, with Brexit, would it be worth us having a chat? And your letter's got to be very simple and informal like that. And you could decide to hand deliver it, you could write out to them, etc. Do whatever you need to do. So these are all direct to vendor opportunities. As a result of finding who owns a property, you could literally try and find them by social media forums or social media platforms like LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. And instead of writing to them, approaching them on social media. You could find them in networking meetings. Now, networking meetings, predominantly you're going to find other property investors, but how many other investors are selling their properties right now? There are loads. Again, in property forums too. We talk about property forums. You've got the NLA, they've got the RLA, which are merged together. They have meetings all the time. Have you been and approached any of the vendors there? Sending out leaflets. Now, leaflets is still a very good strategy, but with leaflets, it's a numbers game. You can't expect to put 10 leaflets out and expect any calls. You've got to put out 10,000 leaflets. You've got to put out 100,000 leaflets. And it is a numbers game. On average, they work on around 1 to 2% return. So if you put out 100,000 leaflets, you're going to get a lot of calls back. It's then sifting through to find out, you know, can I buy it? Can I sell it? Can I rent it? Can I buy, sell, rent, buy, sell, rent? Supermarket segments. Do you target all the houses around supermarkets? Do you target all the HMOs around universities? Do you target all the HMOs around city centres? Do you target all the HMOs around hospitals? These are all things that you could be doing. Now, where do we find the HMO stuff? You can look at the HMO register. These are all things. You can look at the planning register. These are all things that you can be doing. It doesn't cost you a penny. The only thing that I've mentioned so far that's going to cost you any money is leaflets. All the other things are completely free. I haven't spent a penny on marketing for the last 15 years, since 2008, the last 12 years. I haven't spent a penny on marketing. I've still got my website, but other than that, I've not spent a penny on any leaflets, not spent a penny on any writing letters. I do all mine by phone call. I do all mine by phone call, and it really is as simple as that. And then again, you've got estate agents, letting agents, and auction houses. These guys are doing all the hard work for you. They've found the vendors. You just need to approach the vendors, or you've got to make that decision. Am I approaching the vendor, or am I going to speak to the agent and build a relationship with the agent? Remember, I don't know what the exact phrase is, that you can either go to the vendor and have one house, or you can go to the agent and have a funnel of deals. I don't know what the saying is about the fish and the net, etc. Give the man a net, give the man a fish and he'll feed himself for a day. Give the man a net and he'll feed himself for a lifetime. I think that's the saying, but exactly the same with vendors and direct. I see too many people try and approach one vendor. Remember, he's only got one property. You treat the agent right, they'll feed you stock for a lifetime. Now, the reason why I say that you can't be a one-trick pony. Using Thermal as an example, no two transactions will be the same. No two vendors will be the same. No two situations will be the same. So therefore, you've got to have the skill and the mindset to move forward and look at every property and apply a strategy which works best for the owner and the purchaser. So again, looking at, can I buy the property below market value? Can I structure it in a strategic manner, which is going to allow me to control the property? Remember, going back to buy, sell, rent. Can I buy it? Can I sell it? Can I rent it? Can I buy it below market value? Can I sell it for the vendor? And if so, could it be a rent to rent? Could it be a lease option? Could it be an assisted sale? Could it be an exchange or delayed completion? Could I get some form of planning angle? Can I get an option on it? As we speak today, I've got so many deals going through myself personally. I've got an option on a piece of land. We're trying to get planning in for 28 apartments. I've got another house which we've got an option on where we're going to try and get 5 flats out of. I've got lots of below market value deals that we're going through the purchase. I've got rent to rent deals going through. I've always got a pipeline of deals. Some of them will fall through. That is, unfortunate. That's the nature of the beast. It is a numbers game. Okay, so Matthew has said, you mean don't go for the golden egg, go for the goose. I like that one. I've never really heard that one before. Thank you, Matthew. The most strategic of you will be the most successful. The person that I was naive once, and I only wanted below market value deals. And I said, unless it's 25% below market value, I'm not touching it. I must have turned away tens of millions of pounds worth of business because I dismissed all the other opportunities. Don't be that person. Now, believe it or not, people are going to say, well, Arsh, you're making this sound too easy. Believe it or not, it is. I said estate agents who have done all the work for you. They've got all the pictures on Rightmove. They've got all the pictures on Zoopla, on the market, spare room. Vendors are openly advertising their property on OpenRent, Gumtree, eBay, and so many more places. Why are you not taking that opportunity? You don't have to visit the property. If the agents, if you're based in Wolverhampton and the property's in Hull, do you need to go and physically visit the property? If the agent's got it, they've already got all the pictures, they've already got all the floor plans, they've already got the description. You need to just make this into an investable opportunity. I could talk to you about this guy, and this guy's phenomenal. So there's Colleen and Angie. They're actually based in Scotland, in the Highlands. So I'm going to talk to you about a property deal. Well, these guys are doing a couple of property deals in a second. So Colleen and Angie, they joined the EPT in 17 with no knowledge of property investing and certainly no knowledge of deal sourcing. They've completed on 2 deals. Given their circumstances, their personal circumstances, Arsh's relentless efforts, I've pulled these guys through and got them some deals through. I like this, what they've said. They've said Arsh is the real deal, and we're so proud to call him our mentor. As he always says, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I will say this time and time again. Those that teach that use property as a sprint mechanism as opposed to a marathon, the sprinters will burn out very quickly. The guys that are out there for the duration of the marathon will be the ones that succeed and will still be here 20 years down the line. If you're unsure and have the fear of the unknown, don't worry, just lean into the fear a little. It's amazing what can happen. Now, guys, Colin, believe it or not, actually found me this property, and I decided to keep this. I paid Colin a sourcing fee for this. And this, remember what I said? You keep the best deals for yourself. Now, I always wanted a second home somewhere in the country or somewhere on the coast where I can jump in the car, can take the kids, and we can literally go and be on the beach within 4 hours. Colin came to me, goes, Arsh, I found this guy. He's got the vendor is actually based in Tokyo, and he goes, he's prepared to sell this property. I said, where did you find him? He goes, I found him on eBay, believe it or not. So Colin found this guy. He started to Skype call the guy in Tokyo, and within the space of a couple of hours, I jumped on a conference call with him. I said I wasn't interested in buying the property because I didn't really know whether Cornwall was a place that I really wanted to be. We agreed a 10-year rent to rent with the option to purchase. So technically speaking, it's a lease option, which is all done legally. I actually managed to agree a 6-month rent-free period on the property. I now use this as a second holiday home, and whilst I'm not there, it's rented out on Airbnb, and we get approximately £2,000 a week for it. We get on average, you know, admittedly, because it's on the coast, we're quiet in the winter months, but we're very busy in the summer months. So we still get on average around £2,000 a month, which is equivalent to 24 grand a year. And you know, we've done that. We've done that multiple. We've done that for the last year. Initially, he wanted a sale, but we structured it as a lease option. Wouldn't have been possible if Colin did not have the skills to source deals. Now, I'm going to talk about women in property in a second, because one of the toughest things that I've had to do. So Rothes, surely what you're going to do now? Surely no bookings this summer. Okay, let's go back to this property. I've actually gave to 3 nurses who pay a very low rent and cover the outgoings. So they're there for the period of lockdown. So believe it or not, it's still not costing me anything. I don't know whether that's luck or whatever, but I put it on open rent and we had it let literally within the space of 3 days, and we had multiple people who were after it. So we were, you know, quite fortunate in that respect. By all means, if you want to have a look at it, you can go to tincroftcottage.co.uk. We've done it to an immaculate standard. Now, this young lady on my right-hand side is my wife. Now, the toughest person that I had to teach was my wife, because she hears me talk about it all the time. She hears me talk about property all the time, and trying to teach her property when she wasn't really interested in property was the toughest thing that I had to do. She's a former deputy head teacher, full-time mom of 2, no property experience whatsoever other than hearing me on the phone every day. Replaced her income with 2 properties, so the property in Cornwall. She's bought back time to enjoy her life, and she works around, she's got flexible working hours. Before, as a deputy head teacher, she was extremely stressed. It's a very demanding job, as you can imagine. So this is a 6-bed HMO that she sourced. 6-bed HMO, 1-bedroom flat. It's been vacant for 3 years due to lack of funds. We agreed a 7-year rent-to-rent deal with a 3-month rent-free period because the property was in need of a lot of work, and we put the potential option to purchase in the future. Now, this generates a cash flow of around £1,200 a month. And you can see the amount of rents that these are producing here. So we put £1,200 a month as our initial cash flow. It's actually producing cash flow of circa £1,875 a month, because she had done such a good job in the interior design. Believe it or not, a lot of my HMOs are quite, when I say standard, you know, previously there were magnolia brown carpets and white ceilings, etc. We've started to bring them up to a more modern spec, but with this, we've actually hit above all the ceilings of all the other HMOs in the area. Now, if you think that this is not achievable, why don't you look on the Property Investor app? All the deals on there, we've got over 200 other properties on there, all sourced by myself and other EPT members. EPT stands for Elite Property Tribe, which I'll talk to you about in a second. You can go to propertyinvestorapp.co.uk, or you can look on the app stores by searching for Property Investor. These are all the kinds of deals. Now, if you're, you know, if nothing else, you can see how we structure the deals. You can see how we structure the deals, all the different types of deals that we've got: below market value deals, we've got rent-to-rent deals, we've got lease option deals, we've got development opportunities, we've got commercial properties, we've got industrial properties. These are all properties on the app, and these are all deals that all these guys like Temel, Colin, and we're going to talk about Sandy, Chris, and Priscilla shortly. And these are all deals that these guys have done, plus all the other EPT members. Now, the reason why I say that is you want to march yourself forward towards a fruitful 2020. You should all be aiming to become a more rounded property investor. So you shouldn't be that one-trick pony. You shouldn't just be doing rent-to-rents. You shouldn't just be doing lease options, or you shouldn't just be doing service accommodation. You should be looking to do the whole lot, plus a hell of a lot more. Now, I've created a program called the Elite Property Tribe. I've been running it now nearly 4 years. And the reason why I've been running it 4 years is because we're pulling out, or we're churning out some phenomenal success results. It's a 52-week online training program. But when we say online training program, you've got me as support every step of the way. So I like to call it a hand-holding program. The reason why I say that is because I'm the person that deals with it. I don't train people and then get them to train other people. I'm the person that's training you. and I teach you how to source all the different six style of cash flow strategies, which is deal trading, rent to rent, lease options, HMO, service accommodation, commercial to residential, and in between all that, we'll be looking at below market value, how to structure it so that you acquire them strategically, or even tie them up on options so that you can control and manage the property. In excess of that, one of the things that I'm very generous of is my time. I allow people to come and spend days in the office with me in Wolverhampton, obviously when we're not in lockdown. Now, the person in the top right-hand corner here is a guy called Jay Uday. Had no property experience, no money to invest. He became a new EPT member, and he is actually a full-time teacher. Within one day, I managed to get him to negotiate 2 HMOs. He sourced and packaged the deals, offered to investors, and made 10 grand in sourcing fees in that day. Now, I challenge anyone to become an EPT member and come and spend the day with me and not walk out the office with a deal. When you're in the office with me, you're sat opposite me. I listen to all your calls. I understand what you're saying right. I understand what you're saying wrong, and I fine tune you so that every call that you make from there on is a yes. I teach people how to become a yes machine. In June, sorry, I've put the Friday 7th of Feb there, that's completely wrong. We start a challenge, that was the last one that we did, Friday 7th of Feb. We're doing a 30 deals in 30 days challenge, where as soon as we get out of lockdown, I'm going to get all EPT members into a room where we're going to pretty much almost become like a call center, where we're going to be calling agents, where we're going to be calling vendors, and we're going to be churning out deals throughout that day. The last time we did it, I think we had about 15 deals come out that day. It is going to be in Wolverhampton. The date, unfortunately, I can't confirm yet. The reason being is that we're in this little thing called lockdown. And we are going to kick off the Elite Property Tribe with 30 deals in 30 days. Whilst we're in lockdown, you've got all the time in the world to do all the research by building your relationships with vendors, by building your relationships with your power team, by building your relationships with estate agents. There's no reason, there's no one that should have a reason said that they can't do this. A day of action looks like a day looking for deals, a day speaking for vendors to vendors and agents, a day appraising deals, a day calculating the returns on investments and yields, a day looking at the hot spots and looking at supply and demand, a day working in groups with fellow EPT members. But this is only available to EPT members. So we'll go through this. So what is the Elite Property Tribe? I train you every Monday between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. where we'll be looking at how to find deals, where we should be looking at deals, how we appraise them, how we package them, and how we sell them. On top of that, you have access to my network of professionals. So you have access to my solicitors, accountants, brokers, and tax advisors. You have access to me and my support. So if you come across a deal and you don't know exactly how to structure it, I've got a call booking system. So between Monday and Friday, between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., you can book a call with me. But before you book that call, you have to send me the details of what we're discussing, because in that 10 minutes, I don't want to hear the stories. Bullet points, I talk in bullet points. What's the deal? Where's it come from? Give me a breakdown. What are we doing with it? If they don't know those bullet points, we'll go through those very quickly. So I'm very militant with my time. So between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., Monday to Friday, any EPT member has access to me personally, and that's where we discuss all the deals. As a result of being in the EPT, you get all the contracts that I use on a day-to-day basis, all my templates, all my spreadsheets, and you get to sell deals to my database of 100,000 plus investors, but we work on a split fee basis. You won't have to make the mistakes that I've already made, because I'll be teaching you all the things to do on the right way from the outset, and you'll have a proven success record and highly regarded mentor in the industry. As I said, every Monday between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. we have a session. There's 4 exclusive live meetups that we do in either Birmingham or Wolverhampton with keynote speakers. one thing I will say is that I'll always be by your side, because the more deals you do, the more money we make collectively. And that's the honest answer. You know, every deal that we do, if you sell it to my database, we do a split fee. There'll be weekly live webinars every Monday between 7 and 9 p.m. I'll be helping you with the negotiation. So Taimur, give you an example, the one deal that he did in Stoke, he struggled. Well, when I say he struggled, that's the wrong word to say. He needed someone to help him to come on the phone to explain what a lease option was with the vendor. So I came on and we negotiated it, and we literally managed to seal the deal that night. You'll always have my personal mobile number. Will be access to a private WhatsApp group, which is just for EPT members. Private Facebook group, again, closed off just for EPT members. We've got this thing called the EPT Learning Journal. And the reason why that's quite powerful is because in the journal, I ask you to write down every single thing that you've done, so that every week I can ask for it and say, how many people have you called? How many people have you spoken to? What action have you taken as a result of that? We've also got a platform called the Elite Property Tribe, which is elitepropertytribe.co.uk. You can't log in unless you've got a username and password, which has over 400 hours of recordings. Now, I know that there's lots of EPT members that gorge or literally watch all the sessions on there. So it's pretty much like a mini Netflix of sessions that we've got there. And again, we've got the quarterly meets. If you want to know anything about these, go to these little links down. We've got the bottom there, EPT Info, EPT 2020. So you can see the WhatsApp group there. So we've got an active conversation that goes on pretty much daily. You get about 200 to 300 messages every day. And then we've got the Facebook group. You can see I ask people to set their intentions and goals pretty much every day, every week, so that we can see what's going on in the background. And there's part of the learning journal. You can see the journal there. You've got what the intentions are, the weekly accountability journal there. And then finally, like I said, it's a 52-week program, and these are all the different strategies that you're going to be learning. Now, here's the important part. I'm not one of these people that's saying I want a large amount of money for it. It's a 52-week program. The full price of the program is £6,000. However, to join, you only pay 50% of that. You only pay £3,000 of that up front. And then the other remainder is only paid once you have succeeded and have done deals. For the initial payment of £3,000, you can either pay in one lump sum or you can pay in 3 payments. And for anyone that starts, if you were to join today, you'll get access to the whole back catalogue of all the webinars and everything. So you pretty much get an additional month for free. So you can see the links there. Is that where you can join? So you can go to bit.ly/EPT info or bit.ly/EPT 2020. Now, something that I've never ever done before. Now, if you join today, and if you're watching a recording, this won't be applicable. But as of Sunday, the 10th of May, if you join today, I'll actually give you access to the Elite Property Tribe for 18 months instead of 12 months, which means that you get 6 months worth of extra support, 6 months worth of extra webinars, 6 months extra of being surrounded by like-minded and a positive community. You get access straight away by start watching straight away, over 400 webinars, and you can start trading straight away. I always say that you do something today that your future self will thank you for. And so you've got to ask yourself, what has COVID made you wake up to? Have you been in a position where you were potentially struggling and you thought, well, in actual fact, I wish I had that backup? I'm going to introduce you to a lady called Sandeep. Now, Sandeep is not, she's not, you know, we're not here to do any kind of sell, but I want Sandeep to share her experience of what it's like to have been in the EPT. So, hi, Sandy.
Hi, Arsh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can everyone hear Sandy clearly? If you can let me know, please. Yeah, so everyone can hear you nice and loud and clear. So, Sandy, okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself, Sandy. So, who is Sandy? What do you do? What's your full-time occupation?
Yeah, so full-time, I do have a corporate role, but I am a executive leadership coach. That's something I'm doing full-time at the minute, and as we'll talk about, a property professional as well.
Okay, brilliant. So you decided to join the EPT. So instead of me putting words into your mouth, why don't you tell them of your experience?
Yeah, sure. So as the slide states, I joined February 2017. I know you've made some statements today about sourcing deals with no funds, women in property, that sort of thing. So I thought it'd be a good idea just to talk about who I was February 2016 and before, and my journey since then, so people get a bit of insight into that journey. So yeah, going back to somewhere around February 2017, I was in a very different position to what I am today. I'd just come to the end of quite a lengthy legal battle. I was left with a whole host of debt. I was only, I think, 29 years old. My confidence was really impacted as well. And Arsh, you'll probably be a testament to that. I was probably a lot lower in confidence, whereas I'm very extroverted right now. And I also had a property of my own, which I was no longer able to afford to sustain. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with that. So the odds seemed stacked. Now, I knew I had to find a way out of this situation and I didn't want to stay stuck. So I started to consider my options and research how I was going to do that. I was in a really difficult position and I had no real experience other than my corporate role, but I knew I wanted to learn more and definitely earn more to get out of that situation. So my goal back then was ultimately to become financially free somehow and pursue something I'm passionate about. I wanted to be happier. I wanted to find a real purpose. And I started to think, actually, do I want to work for somebody else for the rest of my life, or do I want to live life on my terms? So Arsh, I'd heard your name bandied about through some mutual friends. I think you play football with a few people I know and things like that. I then started to do my due diligence online, and having that property that I wasn't sure whether I was going to be able to hold on to it due to personal circumstances, I decided to just pick up the phone to you. Now, having done that was probably the best thing I could do, because you started to talk about, you know, what I could do with it, turn it into a HMO, which is a house of multiple occupancy, how I could turn that around. And that just gave me food for thought. So I hopped back online and, of course, did my due diligence on, okay, is property something I could venture into? I had a look at other providers, what they were offering, and having had that conversation with you, as well as looking at other providers, decided that EPT was something that I thought was the right fit for me at that point in time. So that led me to join in February 2017.
Okay,
Sorry,
so yeah, that's okay. So I remember, you know, admitted, I remember Sandy coming into the office, and whilst we were in the office, what was the first deal that we did? Was it the flat? Was it the flat in Derbyshire?
Yeah, so it was a flat in Derby that was in the newspaper, and it was pegged as one that could never be sold, and it was over, I think, 50% below market value, and we sold it in an afternoon.
So what I like to do with all the people that come in on the day is literally find a deal, and we try and package it, and we try and put it up onto the platform. Back then we didn't have the app, so we had to email it out. And Sandy started seeing the activity of people calling, and we actually had it reserved that afternoon. And that was an auction style property, if I remember correctly. Is that right?
It was an auction, yes.
So believe it or not, someone bought it literally that afternoon, and exchanged that afternoon. So Sandy walked away that day. What did we charge for that deal?
That one was 2,000.
Okay, so in that respect, she walked away that afternoon pretty much better off as a result of literally doing that deal. We charged a low fee just to get it in and out, because Sandy wanted to do a deal, and that was what really increased Sandy's confidence, just to show her that, you know, things can happen if you put yourself in front of the right people. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And I actually spent 3 days in the office with yourself. So on one day agreed, let's look at my property, because I was renting some of the rooms, but not all of them. And how do we increase the success rate of that? I can honestly say with some of the marketing things you showed me, I've not had any problems 4 years on having that fully occupied, other than one of the single rooms now and again, which is an issue when you look at cash flow. And yeah, the deal's sort of rolling in from there. You actually got me on the phone contacting a list of investors just to increase my confidence as well, which is something that was really daunting to me. And a mixture of things happened. I had a few hung up on me, a few that were politely said it's not for me. Others that said, you know, I might call you back at some point in the future. And I just thought, then, you know, I won't hear from them. And just sort of continuing on that journey, I think just having got my name out there and having made that effort and increasing my confidence, some of those investors did get back in contact with me. So, for example, there was a chap who had 10 properties in Derby, and he was moving to Spain in 6 months. And at that moment in time, he said, it's not something for me, but I will keep your details. And I thought I'll never hear from him again. Again, being quite new to this, he did contact me later on down the road. Now, during this time being part of the EPT, I had networked a lot more with other investors and things like that. So I was able to package up that deal as a rent-to-rent deal. That's 10 properties, and sell it on to somebody else that I knew. And that was for around £15,000. So, you know, just from making those phone calls, having you tailoring my messages, telling me to stay confident, telling me what I'm saying is right or wrong, definitely sort of supported.
If I'm honest, Sandy, I completely forgot about that block of flats. That was in Lincolnshire. Was it Lincolnshire?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that block of flats. Yeah, bloody heck. Okay.
Yeah. So that came about, and that was from the same landlord. And, you know, like I said, I was in a very different sort of position, and having joined the EPT, I think a whole host of things happened. So, you know, I was attending the weekly webinars. I was on every week without fail, the quarterly meetups. I booked that time to be with you one-on-one. Like I say, you know, that's 2 properties sold just by having one conversation in your office. But from that, it actually gave me a lot more than that. I started to become more confident with networking in just that safe EPT environment with other investors, because they're all at different points in their property journey. I think I've made some real great friends as well as other experts to lean on. My mind is continually open now to other strategies. So a bit like you know, I'll be walking around, I'll see a property and something might ping in my brain as to, oh, that could be a deal. Whereas I think before I was quite switched off to that sort of thing. I'm not as reactive like a lot of other investors and landlords perhaps, so I'm continually thinking about changing strategy. So even with my property right now during COVID, I was looking at, I did have a potential offer because of the cash flow it was generating, cashing out and then sinking into another 2 properties. However, COVID's come along and changed that, and I've within a week changed that strategy to ensure I'm still making money and I'm not a worried and tired landlord myself. And again, that's all by leaning on the sort of EPT WhatsApp group as well. And then, like I say, coming back to deal sourcing, if I talk about my first 9 to 12 months and the fact that I was in that black hole with a considerable amount of debt, I'd set myself a target of making around £40,000. And within that first 9 to 12 months, just by being consistent in my action and starting to talk to people about what I do, contacting agents and opening doors, I was able to exceed that target.
Fantastic. Okay, well, brilliant. Well, thank you very much for staying online, Sandy. Thanks for coming online, should I say. If you wouldn't mind staying online just for a moment, and then what we'll do, if there's any questions, I can bring you back on. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, great.
Brilliant, thank you. So there you have it, guys. So there's a few things that I learned about Sandy there as well. You know, I'll bring people on because I want people to really realise that you know, these are all real people just doing it, just out there doing it. And we've talked about I can talk to you about people every day because there's lots of people that I've trained. There's hundreds, if not thousands of people that I've got to financial freedom. This is a guy called Christos. So Christos is based in Milton Keynes. Again, he's another person that you can read this testimonial. There's no need for me to read it out. And then we've got Priscilla, again, another young lady that has literally been going on leaps and bounds. She's then she's sourced some properties, she's taken on quite a few properties for herself on an SA basis, and you can do that. So I'll just leave it here because this is a point where we answer any questions. Now, ask any questions that you want now. We've still got a lot of people online. We've still got over 200 people online. Now's your time to ask questions. If you've got anything that you want to know about, please feel free. If you want to know anything about Sandy, you want to answer, Sandy to answer, feel free to answer. So, okay, I'm going to go. So someone said, Marcus said, Arsh, the correct term is, give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish and he feeds his family for a lifetime. I completely, yeah, that's the phrase that I was looking for. With deal sourcing, you know, remember, go fish in the pond or fish in the sea. I want to look in the whole of the UK for all deals, and this is what I'm trying to do that you guys can do yourself. Sean has said, hi Arsh, I'm based in Wolverhampton myself. How can you make an offer on the property without viewing? Now, Sean, this is where you're making your first mistake. I don't make any offers on any properties, literally. Now, okay, here's how I'm gonna answer this. So Sean, you're probably going to the estate agent, and what the difference between you and I, it's probably that you're probably going to say, okay, your house is on for 100,000. I reckon I can get someone to buy it for 80. And there may be a cash buyer, blah, blah, blah. Estate agents are sick of that. Estate agents are bored of that. They've seen that. They've had that for the last 20 years. They're sick of people over-promising, under-delivering. Now, what we do as deal sources is literally say to them, guys, I'm not your buyer. I don't proclaim to be your buyer, but I know someone who will buy it. But in order for me to do that, I need to present it to them in a manner which they will understand. Off the back of that, I need some level of exclusivity. Off the back of the exclusivity, I then get it pushed out forward to my buyers. So I don't view, I don't offer on it. I don't need to because I'm not the buyer. So Ryan, so I've just kind of answered that question. Okay, so Mr. Said said, how can I get a copy of the slideshow? I'll email it out tomorrow. I've got no issue with that. Okay, so Patricia says, what's the split fee? So the split fee is a 50-50 basis. So literally, if you bring a deal and we charge let's say £3 fee, we do a 50-50 fee. So Matthew says, is it £6,000 a year? It is. So what we do, I'm not one of these people that charge multiple times a year or multiple times for every year. So if you join the EPT, it is £6,000 for the year. You pay £3,000 initially, and then the other £3,000 is paid once you do deals. And just so that you know, I won't, when you get your first deal, I won't say, oh, by the way, you owe me £3,000. That's not my style. I want you to succeed. I want you to get money in your bank so that you can see how real this is. I'll say, well, why don't you pay off 200 quid here, 400 quid here, 500 quid here, whatever it may be, whatever's comfortable for you and your circumstances. You might turn around and say, oh, can we do it off the next deal? I said, yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I don't chase people for that extra £3,000. So if you do nothing and you do nothing, we don't charge you for that £3,000. And I'm very clear on that. So Ross says, are you open to people selling deals to your platform, even if you're not on the EPT? Yes, but Ross, happy to do that. The one thing I will say to you that if your deal's not packaged correctly, it won't go on the platform, nor will we provide the information as to how that should be packaged. So if it's not correct, we won't do it. Okay, so Kush says, when's the remaining 3K payable? You said only when you do deals. Like I said, Kush, it's done on an instalment basis, but it's all dependent on you and what you want to do. Okay, so Marie says, what compliance do you need to have? So just so that you know, this is a grey area, because if you were to sell it through my platform, technically speaking, you don't actually need to be compliant. However, if I'm going to be 100% correct, I would say that every person needs to be compliant, just so that we bring up the standard of the industry. So you do need to be a member of the PRS, Property Redress Scheme, costs about £90 a year. You need to be a member of the ICO, the Information Commissions Officer. I think it's about £80 a year, that one. It's either £40 or £80 a year. Then you've got to have some public or some private, some indemnity insurance. Now, it depends on the level of insurance that you have. I pay, on average, around £300 a year for that. And then finally, you've got your anti-money laundering regulations application, which is with HMRC, which is then register you as a deal sourcer. Basically, to be registered with HMRC, you're basically saying that you're carrying out estate agency style acts, which means that you're dealing with vendors, you're dealing with purchasers, and you're marketing to purchasers. Well, if you're selling through my investor database, I'm the one that's marketing through purchasers, not you. You may be dealing with vendors, so that's why I suggest you still get registered with AMLR, and that on average costs around, I can't remember, I think I paid £300 the first year, and because the level of activity jumped up in years 2 and 3, I now pay near enough the best part of £1,000. But that's, you've got to remember that I'm doing quite a large volume. So that will all depend on you and how many deals that you say that you're going to do that year. So it's quite a low cost. One thing that I will also say is that you should also try and have a one-page website, just so some people can come and check you out as well. Okay, so Kush said, could you offer your apply to me and my wife? Yes, if it's you and your wife, yes, it will be 2 people. You don't need to pay twice, you pay one. You pay once. And if it's you and your business partner, again, you pay once, but you'll need to show me that you are your business partner and not just the person that you picked up off the street, so that you can share. Okay, so Ria says, is there a cheaper entry point? Everywhere is selling that you need to start with no money, no experience, but in this case, you need a minimum, you need to start at 3K. So I appreciate that COVID is causing a bit of an issue. I appreciate that people are in a bit of a difficult situation. If you do, and you feel like you do want to join, and you find that the £3,000 is tough up front, I will give you our email address at the end of this session. Feel free to get in contact and let's have a chat. Do you need some people sourcing for you in Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Newcastle? Believe it or not, Patricia, I need people all over the country. Okay, so Max says, can we buy just the videos of the calls? If you want to buy just the, if you want to just buy the webinars for the last year, I'm sure that's something that we can do as well. More than happy to do that. Okay, so Darius says, Arsh, how do you value your course for 6,000? Okay, that's an interesting question, Darius. Believe it or not, Darius, if you were to go to another, this is what I would consider a mastermind. So not only you get the trainings, you get the hand holding, you get all the support. Go to another training provider, you're looking at circa 20 to 25 grand. So if if you struggle with that concept, we may not be moving much further. Okay. Okay, so Shaquille says, what kind of property deals are you looking for? How to find them? Okay. So Shaquille, just so you know, we've seen so many different types of property deals. We've seen, I think you've missed the point there, is if you don't know, if you've not talked about the point of looking at estate agents, if you're not seen the part about how to approach vendors direct, maybe you want to watch the rerun of this. Okay, so can you show the slide of the goals that you work towards? Okay, I'll miss that. I'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so Helson says, if you're an EPT member, would you get a better deal for the properties? Helson, one thing I would say to you is that if you're an EPT member, I'll be teaching you how to find your own deals. You shouldn't be buying deals off another sourcer if you're in the EPT, because I'm teaching you how to go and get them. If there is something that I'm marketing that you're interested in, then naturally I'll make sure that the EPT members look after you. Okay, so Mr. Patel said, so what happens if no deals materialise that year? When is second instant £3,000 payable? It's not payable, Mr. Patel, or Mr. Patel, L Patel, should I say? It's not payable. I don't charge you for that. Okay, are your deals on Property Investor app from your students or members? They're all from students. Are your deals on the Property Investor app from your students or members? So they're from me and my students. Okay, so after the first year, I want to remain in the group. Do I have to pay another £6,000? No, it's £300 to remain in the group. So it's only £300 for the second year. But in actual fact, remember what I said, if you join tonight, you actually get 18 months for the price of 12. So I'm actually giving you another 6 months. So when is it expected that we will have the ability to start sourcing deals from when we start training? So after how much time will it be most valuable to spend time with you in the office? Now, fortunately, I'm not sure how I pronounce your name. Is it Kieran? So Kieran, normally I would say that as soon as you sign up, book some time to come and spend time with me in the office. The only difficulty that we have right now is that we are in lockdown and I'm not actually in the office as well. So the moment that lockdown opens, the first thing that I'm going to suggest, let's get all the EPT members in a room. Let's get all of them so that we can start doing a day on the phone, so that we can start to refresh some of the old guys, get some of the new guys trained up. And you've got to remember that, 94% of the EPT members remain in the group, and by paying the extra £300. So there's lots of experience in the group. Hi Arsh, can you recommend a solicitor that knows how a rent-to-rent business works? I've got lots of solicitors that you can use, Russell. If you want to email me, after the session, I'll put you in contact with people. Okay, so Mal says, hi Arsh, do you have to be a good salesperson? So Mal, just so that you know, you will have to become confident with speaking to people that you don't know. But this also builds your confidence in all aspects of life. Now, I don't teach that there's a script. I don't believe that there is scripts for stuff like this. Remember what I said, that no two transactions are the same. So therefore, getting you comfortable with what property is and all the different styles of property will get you confident about speaking to different vendors. Okay, so AJ says, hi Arsh, I'd like to get your email address and discuss the EPT course, which I'm very keen to join, but currently in a bit of a hardship. Okay, so AJ, what I'll do, if you stay on for a second, I'll send you our email address. Okay, so Mal says, at what stage do you get paid for the deal? So Mal, pretty much the way that I operate is that someone reserves the property, they pay the finder's fee immediately. Now, but I will hold on to that finder's fee. It will stay in our client account right up to the point of exchange of contracts, just in case anything happens. Okay, so Brendan said, how do you structure telephone calls would be great. That's where I fell. Now, Brendan, it all comes down to rapport, my friend. All comes down to how you break the ice with the vendor, which will all get you past the point as to how to do the deal. And I can teach you that. Okay, so Guy says, if I can't do the webinar on Monday, is there another time I can do it? Just so you know, Guy, anything that I do is fully recorded and is then uploaded onto the platform, which is the elitepropertytribe.co.uk. They're all uploaded on there, along with all the other 400 webinars. So you can watch all last year's, the year before that. You can watch as many webinars as you want. There's no restriction to that. I don't restrict anyone from doing any of that. I'd rather you watch as many as you can, so that if you miss it on the Monday, it's uploaded onto the platform by Tuesday morning, and you can watch it from Tuesday morning onwards. Brendan says, could I teach you the call structure separately? I can do a one-on-one day in the office with you, Brendan, but just so you know, my one-on-one days do charge at £1,500 a day. So if you wanted to come and do a one-on-one with me, you're more than welcome to. After the first year, if you pay a member for the second year, can we still send deals to your app? Absolutely. So you still get all the same privileges in year 2, year 3 as you would if you was in year 1. Okay, so Leon says, is this session being recorded? Yes, this session is being recorded. Okay, so Stuart says, is your office accessible? Yes, it is. It is accessible. We're on the high street. And we've got multi-levels which are very accessible, so Stuart, don't panic about that. Okay, so Chris says, I'm trying to find deals using Gumtree. How do I deal with vendors who say they're interested in rent-to-rent, but then a couple of hours later they do not reply to the messages on Gumtree? How often should I check that they're still interested? Okay, so Chris, if they're saying that they're interested and then they're not responding to you, you've said something in that conversation that's kind of turned them off. We just need to fine tune that. If they're saying yes to you on the phone, you're 50% done. You're 50% there. I just need to fine tune some of your skills. But if they're saying yes to you on the phone, you're pretty much very easy to train to turn you into a deal machine. Is there a manual to the course subjects? So just so you know, I have got a full, here we go. I'll tell you what I can do. Let me just quickly go to elitepropertytribe.co.uk. See if that opens up in a sec. So this is, I'm logged in now. So if you're EPT member, this is what you'll get. You can see webinars. Let's just have a look. You can see all the webinars. So let's just log in from Feb 2020. We only open this up twice a year, by the way. So these are all the webinars that we've done. So week 1, week 2, you can see in terms of the curriculum, you can see the curriculum here. So week 1, week 2, all the different strategies, legislation, finding buyers, how to sell the deal, how to find deals, networking with other sources, difference between property types, different types of legal contracts, how to use Rightmove to your advantage, the importance of a floor plan, below market value deals, where can we find them, different types of marketing, buying BMV, the script, calculating the discounts, HMO, the legislation, different types of HMO registers, spare room, Gumtree, package BMV deals, difference between commercial and bricks and mortar valuations. We get guest speakers, we talk about strategic financing, rent-to-rent deals, the rent-to-rent calculator, negotiating rent-to-rent with landlords and agents. We talk about where to advertise the property, how to sell the lease options to vendors, how to sell lease options to estate agents. the paperwork required for lease options, how to package lease option deals and understand what to charge, planning registers, planning gains, auctions, commercial to residential refurbishments, project management, JV partnerships, guest speaker on JV partnerships, service accommodation, crowdfunding, personal financing, and exit strategies. So pretty much that is the full curriculum. Okay, so Esther says you have to be good in with numbers. No, Esther, believe it or not, I've actually got this document called the rent to rent, the cash flow calculator. You put all the figures in there and it works it out all for you. So let's have a quick look. Hi Arsh, how do you calculate the sourcing fee? So generally speaking, Michelle, that's an interesting one, just purely because it all comes down to, I don't charge a percentage. Some people charge 2% of whatever the property value is. I don't do that. What I tend to look at is, you know, what kind of deal have we put forward? You know, is it a lease option? Is it a rent to rent? Is it a below market value deal? And I will charge it accordingly. Our average fee for 2019 was, I think, £5,000. Yes, so Patricia says, do we have full access to the full curriculum after from day one after joining? If you join tonight, Patricia, you'll be logged in, ready to go from as early as tomorrow morning. Okay, so Dan says, hi Arsh, does the investor or the vendor pay the fee? So no, we always charge the investor, because one of our selling points when we're going to the vendor is that it's completely free for them it's completely free for them. So we don't charge them a fee, and that's what makes us different to a vendor. Okay, so Ria says, do you have a spreadsheet for each strategy? Believe it or not, Ria, I've only got the one strategy. I've got a development breakdown, because that's completely different, but the cash flow calculator we can pretty much adapt to most strategies. Broken down in just not fees. Yeah, so give me an example of my, I don't mind sharing my cash flow calculator with you. Let's have a quick look. So let's have a quick look. Deal sheet template. I'll give you the deal sheet template so that you know exactly what I'm looking for in terms of the deal. The cash flow calculator is on the platform. So literally, this is a calculator where you, let's have a quick look if it opens some point today. Yeah. So we've got rent to rent calculator and we've got purchase calculator. And in there, literally all the blue boxes are ones that you can't touch. They're the ones. So if you're looking at rent to let, let's just say that you've charged landlords after £1,000 a month. All you do now, you can see all the figures have changed. All you do is you put in the rents that you can achieve per room. Say this is a 5-bed HMO, and it will either give you a green or it'll start to show you what the cash flow per month is, what the cash flow per annum is, and then you can do that. And you can do that same for the purchase. So we've got calculators, and these work extremely well. Keep asking any question, guys. Feel free to answer. I'm on just for a short while longer, and then believe it or not, I'm fasting today, so I'm going to go and open my fast. So let's have a look. Does the investor have certain regulations to join your database? So just so you know, when an investor joins our database, they do sign up to confirm that they are going to be received, that they understand that we, with respect to GDPR and all the other bits and pieces, that they are going to receive deals, etc. Right, I think I've answered all the questions. Oof. Anything else, finally, just before we go? Okay, so Patricia says, I wanted to ask, you said you don't view properties. The way you work is the buyer. Okay, so the buyer views the property. So we get the vendor to send us the videos, screenshots, or pictures of the property. That might be via WhatsApp, email, or they use other platforms. If they can't get that and they're prepared to pay for a service, there's services out there called Viewer and all kinds of stuff. Where they can get the videos done and we can upload that up onto the platform. It's very rare that I'll sell a deal without any pictures. Worst case scenario, we can get one from the outside and then we can arrange viewings internally for anyone that's interested. Moving forward, obviously, we're trying to get as many videos done of all the properties that get sent over to us. And the reason why we say that is because it allows a buyer to make a pretty much an instant decision. Okay. So how do we protect the deal once the vendor says yes? So we've got lockout agreements, we've got exclusivity agreements, we've got exclusivity agreements, and we get them to sign that to confirm that they're not trying to sell the deal elsewhere. So Ardy says, hi Arsh, when negotiating exclusivity with the estate agent, do we pay a fee? I've never paid a fee to an estate agent for giving me an exclusivity. Hi Arsh, are you using a software to find specific deals that can match strategies like a purchase lease option or B&B? No, we're not. No, we're not, is the honest answer. Do you have a template investor pack, i.e. deal presentation to investors? Yes, we do. Kush, yes, we do. And that's the template that I give you so that you fill in all the details so it's ready to go up onto the platform. Okay, so Esther says, do we have to set up our own company to be able to source and then use your investors? It's always good for you to have your own company, Esther, because then you can, any costs that you may have, you can charge back through your accounts. Okay, so Amrik says, which tool is accurate on a house valuation? So when you talk about house valuations, I generally look at house sold values as opposed to sale values. If you look at places like Zoopla and that, I don't think that they're very accurate whatsoever. So I wouldn't use that. Okay, so sorry, Matthew says, okay, bear with me. Lots of people want your email address. Okay, can show the slides, show the goals. Okay, I'm quickly going that. Do we have to sell deals by your platform? So Kush says, if you find a deal, do we have to sell your platform? No, if you've got to sell it to your own investors, by all means, please feel free to do so. Okay, so the email address is, there we have it. I think we've got it on there. Yeah, it's arsh@arshellahi.com. So you actually get my email address as well. So if you want to give me a call on the office number tomorrow, or if you want to give me a call on this evening, I'm actually in the office. Feel free to give me a call. Or if you want to send me an email, if you want to have a chat about that, more than happy to have a chat about that. So Yvonne, I'll just talk you through my goals. My goals for 2019 was to hit 500 deals. I actually did 500 deals in 2019. 2020, my goals was to hit 1,000 deals. We were, if I'm honest, we were on track for that. Problem that we came across was COVID-19, which meant that a lot of the agents, a lot of the people that were working with down tools, and unfortunately couldn't do that. So, you know, we'll try and push for 1,000 deals, but I don't think we'll hit it, in all honesty. Okay, so Patricia says, how do you get the estate agent to collaborate with you without them paying a fee? Are they relying on you to look only to look good as they've done the job for the vendor? Potentially. You know what, Patricia, that's a good way of putting it. And the reason why I say that is because you got to remember, their end goal is to sell the property. How they sell that property, they don't care, is the honest answer. They just want a sale. If they can sell that property without having to work any harder, absolutely. You know, from a vendor's point of view, they need to make sure that they're servicing the vendor, which is their client. I don't need to know who their vendor is. So sorry, Mr. Bells then said, how long's the offer stand? Just so that you know, if you want the 18-month offer for the price of 12 months, that's only for today. That's for Sunday, the 10th of May. If you're watching the rerun of this, it's not applicable, unfortunately. So that is for today, where I'm giving you the 6 months. In terms of cash flow and a 4-bed house share, what's the ideal percentage of rent given to the vendor in order to satisfy their needs? That's a tough one. You'd have to consult the cash flow calculator, which you get as part of the program. I've answered, I think, pretty much a high. Let's have a quick look. So I think I've gone through pretty much every question. Pretty much answered pretty much every question there. So Brendan says, if a buyer, investor views a property, that happens, what happens if they live in a different city? Do they travel to view it or purchase via photos and package information? Pretty much both. Believe it or not, I've sold a property to a guy in Australia. He obviously couldn't come and view it, so we did arrange a video for the property, sent it him, and he bought it off the video tool. Okay, what's the fair exclusivity process period to negotiate? It all depends. Anything from a couple of days going right up to a couple of months. All depends on how good your negotiation skills are. So guys, on that note, I really do look forward to meeting quite a few of you coming on board for the Elite Property Tribe. I think it's one of the best training programs out there, just purely because you get so much support. You get support from me, not from someone else that I've trained that is then going to be training you. If you've got any questions, you want to have a chat, best thing to do, email me, and on your email put your phone number. And if you want us to have a chat, more than happy to have a chat, and then let's go from there. Let's start progressing forward, and let's get pushing you forward into 2020 and making this still the best year that you can make it to be, because you've got all the time in the world to do it. On that note, guys, I wish you all a great evening, and I will speak to you all very soon. Take care. Good night. God bless.